pigs. If only the wolf had possessed military-grade equipment, you say as you tuck your children in at night. Fortunately, your godlike father has no such limitations on his powers. Sleep tight, good kids. Now, there are...
By the way, that's part of the reason why the city doesn't have enough, like, funds for... Like, oh, do teachers have to buy their own supplies for the school season? Well, sorry, we had to get a fucking second MRAP for the town of 2,000 fucking people, because sometimes kids who steal their parents' prescription drugs will then end up getting their hands on heroin and overdosing. So you have to respond to that and give them fucking what's Narcan. And you need to do that in the fucking MRAP.
Important questions over whether or not police officers really need access to that kind of equipment, just as there are questions over what messages they take away from some of the training they receive. Take a look at one particularly extreme exercise for SWAT team members.
The cult leader realizes that they got an armored vehicle going to start. He goes, okay.
You know what's funny is that the religious leader cult scenario and the big bad wolf that they just showed is literally how the government murdered all of those cultists in Waco. So there is that as well. That is, I like that they're doing a milsim of Waco, which is not a success story, but instead a story that should be used as like what not to do. Great. It's fucking awesome. Also, before we continue on with the milsim, if you're wondering, it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break, boys, girls, and NBs. So I'm going to run that ad right now. It's the third of the day. If you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite streamer. Hopefully that favorite streamer is mine and you don't leave and go to another favorite streamer. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Here's the ad.
Let's pull the trigger, sends out the RPG, and then they start executing people.
Oh my God.
It's really a mass suicide, but in fact, it's really a murder-suicide.
None of the scenarios we saw left much room for non-violent solutions.
And then back in here, the cult leader is basically systematically executing babies.
When the amount of hours you spend at the shooting range outnumber the number of hours you spend learning conflict.
Okay, honestly, the non-subscribers kind of lucked out on that one. That was very weird. That was very, very, very weird.
Resolution, and by 10 or 15 to 1, you're going to be more likely to use the tool that you've trained more with.
Yeah, no shit. Because look, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be prepared for cult leader baby murder, but how many cult leader baby murders do they think they're going to be called to every year? And I know what you're thinking here, but John, if there is a baby murder cult, how are we going to replace all those babies? Well, don't worry, I'm pretty sure I know a guy who can help.
I'm the baby merchant, tots are us.
Seriously, it's 3 minutes long. It's so weird. I'm not saying you should seek it out. I'm just saying you do need to know that it exists. Now, the obvious danger of fostering a militarized police culture that trains and equips officers like they're the lead in an action movie is that it can encourage them to then act that way. Take a look at a raid that took place in Little Rock. Here, the police blow open the door of the apartment belonging to a man named Roderick Talley because they falsely believed he was selling cocaine. But despite not finding
Okay, well, surprisingly, they didn't kill the dog, which is good.
When they realized he had a home security camera, they asked him, while he was still cuffed to a chair, if they could rewatch the footage of their raid so they could see how it looked.
That's awesome. I'm going to record that real quick.
Can you play it back again?
That was worth coming to work for. One more time. We ain't laughing at you.
Yeah, don't worry, we're not laughing at you. We're just high-fiving ourselves for how cool it looked when we blew your door in. But you get it, you were there. By the way, thanks for being such a good sport about this, even though we do all have guns, so you kind of have to be. This job is fun. And police might point to the fact that they don't just use guns, they also have supposedly non-lethal tools at their disposal. But even then, there can be issues. Take flashbang grenades. In theory, they just stun and...
Hey, hey man, please reach out to me with your email and your private information, okay? So that I can get the medical help from you, Bruder Stein. I haven't known you that long, but you should do this. I'm a psychologist and I've seen some signs based on your language and facial expressions. You shouldn't ignore that and seek treatment. Later, everything is too late. Idiot.
Disorient people, but they can generate heat in excess of 2,000 degrees. So you'd hope officers would be really careful with them, certainly a lot more careful than this.
We heard a loud noise, which was them busting through the door.
Then came a flash grenade right into the 2-year-old's bed. You can see by this picture how badly it was damaged.
And I kept begging the officer, you know, give me my son, just let me hold him, he's scared, he needs me. The officer told me to shut up and go sit down.
Police were looking for drugs but found nothing.
Yeah, the police threw a flashbang grenade into a crib. And look, I'm no policeman. I haven't studied all the bylaws. I don't have a PhD in grenadology, but purely as a layperson. The police should not have thrown that fucking grenade into a fucking crib. And if the police are truly...
I'm sick and tired of these fucking radical liberals, dude. Like, why do you want to take away the police's rights to be able to use a flashbang grenade on a baby's crib? Like, do you not understand how important it is for an operation to be successful that you do that? Oh God, these people just want crime. They want crime to continue. That baby was literally reaching for a drug. Okay, that baby could have been reaching for a gun. You know how many people get killed by baby guns? A lot, I assume. I don't know, but I would assume a lot because there's a lot of guns in America. Oh, you want to take some of the guns away? No, you can't do that. That's communism. No, the baby was reaching for a piece and had to be tactically reprimanded.
Incapable of knowing whether they're throwing a grenade into a crib. Maybe they shouldn't have fucking grenades. Here is another quick rule that applies to both horseshoes and hand grenades. If you throw either of them into a crib, even one time, guess what? You don't get to play with them anymore. Now, thankfully, that couple's baby survived, but it is hard to believe the police didn't realise there were children in the house, given that the family had lived at that address for 2 months and there was a minivan with 4 car seats in the driveway. And when they did find the man that they were actually looking for at a different house, he surrendered peacefully when officers knocked on his door. So in hindsight, grenading a baby might not have been necessary. And again, they were looking for drugs. And again, they didn't find what they were looking for. This happens all the time. And troublingly, police don't have to work very hard to get a warrant to blow someone's door open. Judges have to sign off on warrants, and ideally, they would function as a check here. But in practice, they often don't spend much time scrutinizing police justification. An investigation in Utah of more than 10,000 electronically submitted warrants found that half the time, judges approved warrants in less than 3 minutes, with hundreds signed off in less than 30 seconds. That is absurd. Even the cases on Chrissy's court were longer than 30 seconds, and it was a show on Quibi, a platform we all collectively fever dreamed. And the bar for getting a judge to sign off on a search warrant is pretty low. All you need is probable cause, or...
I love when No Pixel roleplay court has more severe consequences for like you know, over the top cops and fucking warrants than the American justice system.
A reasonable belief that evidence of a crime will be found in the place you want to search. And that belief can come from anywhere, whether it's the smell of marijuana or, very often, the word of a confidential informant who might be trading tips for money or leniency. And a lot of those tips turn out to be complete bullshit. To get the search warrant that led to the raid on Roderick Talley's home, police told a judge that a confidential informant had bought cocaine from him and that they'd observed the interaction. But luckily, Talley had a doorbell cam that showed the informant walking up to the door, alone, standing there, and then walking away. And look, normally, I'm not a big fan of doorbell cams. All they do is record me giving myself a 5-minute pep talk before I enter any party. But in this instance, I'm really glad he had one. And police have...
Well, why did he have one? Huh? What are you trying to record? You probably had one because you were dealing drugs.
Sometimes been caught making informants up, giving misleading information in their warrant application, or failing to do even the most basic checking to see if their suspect is actually in the home they're raiding or somewhere
XQC, by the way.
else that they probably should have known about.
Jolanda Blassingame says it was utterly terrifying. Chicago police allegedly breaking her door down in North Lawndale, pointing rifles at her children in what's being called a colossal police blunder.
They did not bother to perform the simplest,
just a blunder,
most routine verification. The target of the warrant, Mr. Bell, was at that time serving a 20-year prison sentence for a murder conviction 200 miles away in Hill Correctional Center in Galesburg, Illinois.
By the way, he allegedly broke the door down. So the really devastating and sad part, and the reason why I'm sure John Oliver is covering this is because of Breonna Taylor raid, but remember all of this, you know a lot of this already because we already talked about the actual process in which they were able to secure a raid warrant for Breonna Taylor, despite the fact that she had not been in contact with the other person. The other person was already getting served across the fucking town. She was living with her current boyfriend at the time. Oh, this aired before the Breonna Taylor thing? Wait, no, it didn't. Isn't this like... Oh, this is recent.
Well, that's pretty embarrassing, but I guess it's kind of like when you turn your home upside down looking for your keys, only to discover they were in your pocket the whole time. Only in this case, the keys are a man, the home isn't yours, and your pocket is a medium security prison in another zip code. So when you have bad police work on the front end and minimal judicial oversight on the back end, it becomes far too easy to get a search warrant. And once...
He briefly talked about Breonna Taylor in the beginning. But I'm sure he's going to tie it back to like all the details.
There really aren't a lot of limits on what they can do. Just about every search warrant gives officers permission to break down a door to conduct the search. And I know there's a lot of talk right now specifically about no-knock raids. But it's worth noting that the line between knock and no-knock is very, very thin, thanks to a series of court rulings like this.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled today police do not have to wait more than 20 seconds before breaking into a drug suspect's home.
For the 10 tier 1 gift subs.
Said waiting any longer would let suspects flush evidence down the toilet.
Yeah, the ruling there was giving you 20 seconds to answer your door is reasonable because you might flush evidence down the toilet. Which does raise the obvious question here. Why the fuck are we raiding people's homes for an amount of evidence that can be flushed away in 20 seconds?
Yeah,
Unless
literally.
someone is accused of trafficking Smurfs or stealing the world's most valuable goldfish, maybe we should be finding a different way to do this. And police really aren't incentivized to give you any seconds to answer your door because in 2006, the Supreme Court ruled that even when they violate the rules requiring them to knock, announce and wait, the prosecution can still use the evidence obtained during that search. So there is often no meaningful consequences to busting right through your door. And decisions like that mean the distinction between a no-knock raid and a knock and announce raid is barely there. As a judge in Georgia put it, either the door comes in...
Okay, libtard, but you're failing to consider how fucking sick it is when me and all my boys get to play Call of Duty and we don't even have to go to fucking... we don't even have to fly all the way to Afghanistan to do so. What the fuck's wrong with you? Here's my counterpoint. It's fucking sick and it's epic and it's literally Call of Duty. So yeah, owned. Get wrecked.
And people are yelling sheriff's office, or people yell sheriff's office and the door comes in. And that is fundamentally the same. It's like comparing Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain. Are they different? Nominally, sure, although not in any way that really means anything.
Wait, who's the one on the left? Holy shit.
Fundamentally the same. It's like comparing Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain.
Who the fuck is Bryce Dallas Howard?
Are they different? Nominally, sure, although not in any way that really means.
Bro, Ron Howard's daughter? Shut the fuck up. Wait, who's... Oh, never mind. Ron Howard is someone different. Okay.
Anything. Now, if you do actually need to tell them apart, Bryce Dallas Howard is the one who looks slightly more like Jessica Chastain. And on top of all of this, there is just case after case of the police messing up the execution of a raid that range from the horrific to the almost cartoonishly idiotic. Like this video of them looking for a suspected drug dealer, but instead raiding the home of his neighbor, Henri Norris.
Whoever said Bryce Dallas Howard follows you on Twitter, you deserve to be banned, okay? Why would you do that? Why would you? Why, you fuck you, dude. Of course I checked. Of course I checked immediately. She's married anyway. You bastard. You fucking bastard. It was real funny, dude. Oh, it was real funny. Let's ruin his fucking dreams.
78-year-old with...
You actually checked? Yeah, why wouldn't I? Why would I not check? I love finding out about like random fucking Hollywood people following me and shit. It's so weird when you find out about a new person like that.
Heart problems who thankfully survived despite the police making one mistake after another.
How did deputies end up hitting a house with a different color, a separate driveway, its own mailbox, and another...
Kind of an ego check that you thought it was possible? Why wouldn't it be? A lot of the Hollywood libs, there's a bunch of fucking random Hollywood libs that follow me. There's not like an ego check at all.
Dress.
Missed it.
Oh. We just got up.
Missed it.
First, the tactical team got lost following instructions from a GPS app on a phone.
Turn right on Wayne.
Then, as soon as they got to the correct address, deputies were immediately confused.
Where's the house? That's the house.
They walked right past the target house without clearing it and headed through the tree line to the next house on the street. Even then, deputies were unsure.
This house? This house?
Looking back and forth at the two houses, it was too late. The entry team was already forcing its way into Henri's home.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It is humiliating to watch a trained tactical unit outfitted with military hardware get so completely stumped by the mystery of more than one house. And you might be thinking, oh, come on, I'm sure that's just a one-off. But the thing is, mistakes like that happen all the time.
It was a total nightmare for this family when cops burst into their home, which turned out to be the wrong address.
That is the wrong apartment, and that is the one that the SWAT team went inside.
Sean and his wife, who both work full-time, live here. The people the police were looking for live here.
The DEA is apologizing for bursting into the Rink family home with the Bradley County SWAT team, only later finding out that it was the wrong home.
That's not a mistake to make.
I'm sorry. Did you see the tactical baby cribs all around? Everyone knows that tactical baby cribs are the best way that you can stash cocaine. Back to Blue Boys, Thin Blue Line and all that.
You have, I mean, hell, you can
move
look
along.
At the mailbox.
Yeah, exactly. And the police hitting the wrong address is just completely unacceptable when the stakes are so high. Even edible arrangements manages to deliver to the correct address, and that business is just pure chaotic evil. Happy anniversary. Please enjoy this flavorless crucified melon. Now, amazingly, there often aren't consequences for cases like those. Officers are rarely criminally charged and even more rarely convicted. Botched.
Once again, I'd like to point out the tactical restraint showed by our fellow law enforcement officers in the circumstance where they were able to break and enter into the domicile of the perpetrator, which we suspected was selling cocaine. As soon as we saw the baby cribs, it was time for a flashbang grenade. But I said, I don't even know. Officer Lenny Hawk was able to tactically apprehend and exercise the best kind of restraint. Instead of throwing a flashbang grenade into the crib directly, they were able to get away with just shooting the violently aggressive Chihuahua inside of the domicile.
Raids usually aren't even investigated unless someone is killed, the media gets involved, or there's a lawsuit. And even when they happen, police officers are protected from civil liability by the doctrine of qualified immunity. As for their departments, they aren't even responsible for paying to repair a broken front door or compensating residents for any other losses or damages, even when they raid the wrong residence, which is just absurd. Look, this is obviously incredibly dangerous, and not just for the people whose homes are raided, for the police too. That same investigation that found 81 civilians had been killed in raids found that 13 police officers had died as well, which really shouldn't be that surprising. These raids are, by design, highly disorienting, and for the people who are woken up in the middle of the night to the sounds of an armed invasion, they have to make a split-second decision whether or not to defend themselves.
Sir, that means that we have a pretty solid KDA. So, I don't know what the fuck this libtard's talking about. Did you hear that? 81 kills, only 17 deaths. Or 13 deaths.
That is something everyone can understand. In Georgia...
I want to know how much of the 13 deaths is actually from friendly fire, by the way. Like, straight up.
A Republican state senator got in trouble for saying if police raided his home in a no-knock raid, he would shoot them dead. And when he was pushed on that, he did not back down.
If somebody kicks down my door unannounced, they will meet with resistance, I guarantee you.
But if it's law enforcement, they would be there.
How am I supposed to know at 3 o'clock in the morning? Somebody shows up in black outfits, they can say they're law enforcement, maybe they're not. They've got a gun pointed at me. What are you going to do, Dale?
Yeah, Dale. What are you going to do?
Fuck you, Dale.
That guy looks like a bit of a belligerent arsehole, but the thing is, this country is full of belligerent arseholes, and lots of them have guns.
Okay, controversial take, but that's not belligerent nor an asshole to maintain that position, okay? Like, straight up. No cap on a stack. That's,
And while it is easy for a white state senator to fantasize about himself, or indeed Dale, mounting a hypothetical armed resistance to a police raid, for those who actually do get raided, there are real consequences to those actions. If not death, then serious criminal charges. Just a few hours after Breonna Taylor was killed, her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who believed the police were intruders, was charged with attempted murder for firing his gun during the raid and allegedly injuring an officer in the leg. Those charges were dropped, but only because he had national attention and a good lawyer. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Tyler Harrell was sentenced to 13.5 years in prison after he injured a police officer during a surprise drug raid at his home, even though a jury found no proof that he knew he was shooting at police. Lives are getting destroyed through police raids, and even if nobody gets physically hurt, that does not mean that no damage is done. Having your home violated is a traumatizing experience, often exacerbated by how targets of raids are treated. Take Anjanette Young, a social worker in Chicago whose home was raided and who fought hard to get the body camera footage released to the public, even though it's incredibly difficult to watch.
You see them running up to the apartment complex with the battering ram in their hand. It was so traumatic to hear the way the thing was hitting the door. And it happened so fast, I didn't have time to put on clothes.
And she was right. They were in the wrong house. We found they simply took the word of an informant who gave them Anjanette Young's address. The informant claimed a 23-year-old man who was a known...
Isn't that the exact situation where self-defense would be reasonable? Absolutely. No, there is no other... If you can't use your gun in a potential, like, massed... in a situation where, like, massed individuals are breaking into your fucking house in the middle of the night without, like, properly telling you who the fuck they are, then why do you have a gun? Like, that's literally... Conservatives fantasize about, like, you know, death squads knocking down your door, and that's precisely why you need an AR-15, so you can tactically take down multiple perpetrators. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why you can't do it with a handgun, because you need to be able to aim and have low recoil, high magazine capacity, and be able to shoot, be able to pump like 3 or 4 body shots into 4 people at the same time. That is what the AR-15 is designed to do. And it's designed in a way that, like, women and children can use it. Okay, that is literally what the AR-15 is designed for. So this is literally the fucking instance. The only time that like an actual death squad is going to knock down your door is if it's the fucking police. Can the same thing be applied to shop owners? I've talked about this before during the Kenosha shooting, where like absolutely, if you are inside of your own fucking store that you fucking own, and people are breaking into your store, and you are trying to de-escalate the situation, but you feel as though your life is in jeopardy, then yes. I talked about this during Kenosha as well. Situations outside of that, of course, cannot be used with the same fucking logic, because you know, the situation in Kenosha was not that at all. It was completely different than that.
Known felon had a gun and ammo inside.
I don't know who that person is. I've been living here for 4 years and nobody lives here but me. Okay. You don't have to shout. I don't have to shout. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, this argument goes down the drain if you hear if you smell marijuana, the devil's lettuce, in which case then, of course, all measures, no matter how violent, are appropriate because, I mean, that's you smelled marijuana.
They broke into her home having done next to no due diligence and handcuffed her completely naked before eventually throwing a blanket over her while she was still handcuffed. And then they said, you don't have to shout. Shouting is not the drastic measure being taken here. People shout for many reasons, because they want peanuts, because they don't want to get up, or just because the song told them to. When you are handcuffed naked in your own home because the police screwed up a search warrant, shouting should be in your fucking Miranda rights. And when you treat people like that, it is clear you have no interest in forging a healthy relationship with the community you're supposed to be serving. Instead, the community has to live with the knowledge that no space is truly secure from the threat of police violence. That is a message that is received loud and clear from a very young age. So what do we do about this? Well, I would argue that small changes just aren't going to cut it here because, yeah, it would be better if search warrants were harder to get and officers were required to verify information from confidential informants and that we didn't give military-grade equipment to people who can't be trusted not to throw it into a fucking crib. But that is just not nearly enough. And even reforms that appear sweeping can be pretty limited. After Breonna Taylor's death, no-knock warrants were banned in, among other places, Louisville and Virginia, which initially sounds good. The thing is, as you've seen tonight, the difference between no-knock and knock is basically no difference at all.
Well, technically, I would like to point out once again that it is physically a knock when you put the key to the city to the door frame. That is physically creating the sound of a knock, and therefore no knock warrants do not exist because you are knocking when you blow the doors back out.
And I'd argue that there's a big solution here that's actually staring us right in the face, and that is stop doing drug raids. Just stop it. And if that sounds extreme, you might want to know the former chairman of the National Tactical Officers Association recommends that raids never be used to serve narcotics warrants, saying, why would you run into a gunfight? You definitely don't go in and risk your life for drugs. And he's right. Drug raids just have to stop. And raids in general should...
You will not convince me that that's not Michael Scott. Sorry. That's Michael Scott. He's not the National Tactical Officers Association
used
guy.
To serve narcotics warrants, saying, why would you run into a gunfight? You definitely don't go in and risk your life for drugs. And he's right. Drug raids just have to stop. And raids in general should only be used as a last resort to save lives that are in immediate danger, because busting into someone's home is never going to be safe for anyone involved. And right now, raids are being used far too widely and are destroying lives, both for the individuals who are killed, injured, or traumatized, and all the black and brown people who have no choice but to
This is what happened at Dean's penthouse suite at the casino. It's how Don Pecorino got shot despite the officers being involved in friendly fire and Don not firing one round. Exactly.
Internalize the lessons of that trauma. They deserve the respect and consideration of a police force that's supposed to protect them, not one that merely sees their lives as an opportunity for action movie cosplay, a thrilling TV special, or the reenactment of a misremembered nursery rhyme with a souped-up fucking battering ram. And maybe, just maybe, if we can do the right thing here and climb down from our current wild overuse of raids, then, and only then, we'd have a police story legitimately worth singing about. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Can't have my cosplay Second Amendment rights? How do I not take my anger for cops and apply it to my friend's sister who's a cop? What do you mean? It was a pretty good episode. No furry references, so automatically good. List of police dogs killed in action. Look at how many are killed by friendly fire. I don't want to do that. Oh, what the fuck?
If you have any...
Boo Boo Bennett met up with fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh my god, 2 of my queens. Shut the fuck up. This is too good to not look at. I was going to move on, but I can't. Holy shit.
Advice to Christians, conservatives, Trump supporters to speak up, what would you say to them?
I would say that we are possibly living in the last days of having free speech. And if anyone values that, and if you're a Christian who has been saved by my Savior, their Savior, your Savior, Jesus Christ, if you believe in God, you better stop being complacent and you better stop being quiet. We are given this grace, and we're not meant to keep it covered. We're not meant to keep a lid on our light. We're meant to expose it to the world, and we are supposed to be brave.
Yeah, she's
We're
right.
here with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You need no...
Okay, I just tweeted out that I'm looking at this new Boo Boo Bennett drop with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, this is fucking... Like, I put a Boo Boo Bennett videos on hiatus for the time being because, like, it's just too much. You know what I mean? It's too fucking much. But goddamn, I mean, I can't. I can't fucking avoid this. This is so good. Anne. Bana yemeği yapsana, ben acıktım bile. I mean, 2 queens. 2 queens. I asked my mom to make me my chicken tendies. You know what I mean? This is Avengers Endgame. Yeah, for sure. Those are your best performing YouTube videos. I know, and I still don't like do them that much because, like, you know, it just gets a little boring after a while.
No introduction. You're awesome. You're a fighter. You're so strong. A lot of people like to say you're my mom, so that's okay with me.
I'll take that. You're a very good, solid,
2 womanlets.
conservative, gun-loving, Second Amendment supporting young lady. So that's...
You heard it here. Marjorie is my mom. So, okay. Ever since you won your election back in Georgia, the media has just loved to attack you, and it seems as if because they don't have Trump to go after, you are their new target. How do you handle it so well?
Well, the way I handle it is I didn't run for the media. I ran for the people. And my saying during my campaign, and I continue to say it, is people over politicians. As a matter of fact, that's so important to me. We have that on my...
Being a salt of the earth, real layman loving politician for conservatives is like, how many psychopathic, racist, anti-Semitic conspiracies can you fit into one speech? Okay? Because, like, this person's background is not fucking glaming. She's like a real estate developer. Like, she's a real estate developer, CrossFit mom who cheated on her husband. Like her real life bona fides do not imply that she is like a regular old, you know, salt of the earth, everyday average Joe or Jane, I guess. Literally American Talibans? Oh, of course.
My wall in my office in Washington, D.C., and I can't wait for Nancy Pelosi to stop running our Capitol like it's some kind of military state. When we get that border wall taken down, I can't wait for the taxpayers and my constituents to come in and see me in my office so they can see how much they mean to me. But the media, we know exactly who they are. We saw it with President Trump over the past 4 years. Most of the mainstream media is Democrats. They support Democrats. They want these progressive policies in place, and they use their powerful platform to push these policies. And so
Wow. You know what? I've tuned it out. I can't even. Oh, God. It's kind of boring if they're just regurgitating conservative talking points, right? So she's not saying she's not saying anything fun or interesting or new right now. So it's not even fun. Like I need her to spice it up. I couldn't even pay attention to her, you know?
When someone who's conservative like me, and I truly love America, and my policies are America first, just like President Trump, and I support him completely, and I can't wait for him to speak tomorrow. They want to tear me down and smear me and create a narrative that they can sell to the public. And how I handle it is that's not who I am, and all of my family and friends are constantly appalled at their attacks, and so are my constituents. And so here's the great news: you don't worry about bullies. You don't let them bully you, and you don't worry about their lies, and you keep putting.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the anti-bully candidate who recently very famously plastered there's only two genders, man and woman, on the Congress halls next to a representative who has a trans child. That's, I hate bullying. Great. Also, she hates bullying. That's why she harassed a victim of a school shooting who became a political activist, and now I guess famous pillow salesman, David Hogg. That's just stuff that you do when you're not a bully, or shoot up fucking cans of Tenorite with the sign socialism in front of it.
One foot in front of the other and doing the right thing, because it's not about the media in this country, it's about the people.
My story is kind of similar to yours, because right now I get chased out of college campuses. They don't want me in these public spaces. They chased you.
Dude, I love that. I love that conservatism is basically creating opportunities for you to be permanently owned over and over again by people who abhor you because of the reprehensible behavior that you demonstrate, and then turning it into your political ideology that like everyone hates you and somehow we should fix the system. It's great. Why does everyone hate that I am uncontrollably pissing, shitting, and farting every time I'm around other human beings? Why does everyone keep saying, please stop pissing, shitting, and farting on me every time I try to do that around them? Please, we need to game the system so that I can piss, shit, and fart directly on top of people without them getting upset at me.
And voted you out of your committee. And I know in your press statements you say, well, now I have more time to focus on the people back in Georgia. Are you still of that mindset? Are you regretting that you aren't on that committee at all? Are you still happy with who you are and where you're going?
Oh, listen, that was a great big gift. Yeah. From the Democrats and 11 of my very weak Republican colleagues. It was 10 that voted for impeachment on Trump. It was 11 that voted to kick me off. And most of those people have been censured in their own districts and states. So I think they're hearing from people exactly the message they need to hear. No, being removed from committees right now was the best thing that could have happened to me, because the Democrats are running Congress. They do not care about the Republicans' voices, Republicans' ideas, Republican amendments, Republican policies on these committees. And so by removing me from committees, I have been freed up of having to listen to their woke.
Again, yet another demonstration of the I'm not owned. I'm not owned. These L's that I've been served are actually not a bad thing and a good thing instead. Now I have so much free time to do what exactly? Like I have lost the modicum of power that the rest of the Republican caucus afforded me for some weird reason. I do not know why, by the way. I guess maybe because they're fucking insane. But now I just have all this free time so I can, shit post on Twitter. It's great.
Progressive, ridiculous, socialist Democrat ideas for hours on Zoom meetings where they actually sit and wear a mask on the Zoom meeting. So I'm freed up to go be back at home, serving my constituents, having town halls, talking with people at home and hearing their ideas. And then I'm also running things on the House floor, which has been a lot of fun, calling to adjourn and trying to give Democrats some more time before they vote for horrible things like the Equality Act. So there's a lot of things.
Mask on a Zoom meeting is silly, not gonna lie. Brother, why would you ever take anything she just said seriously? Like, why would you ever believe anything she said? she followed that up with, it's given me more time to not listen to socialist Democrat policies. Like, she's probably lying. What are you, stupid? Like, without a doubt, okay?
That I can do, and I'm so excited to have great relationships with many of my Republican colleagues because they go and support my ideas on committees. So I say I'm
yeah, my idea is like the Inequality Act, which is an act that I'm going to put forward, you know, separate but equal. I think is a good policy. I don't know why we can't go back to it, you know. They're calling it segregation. I call it I see no color, except for the legislation that I'm writing, which will separate black people from whites again, because equality is bad. That's why we're going to do unequal equality, which is a new kind of equality, you know, separate but equal.
a chairwoman of the Committee of the Whole, and I'm having a great time.
Well, that brings me to my next question. The establishment GOP, they hate you. They hate you. Why are they so threatened by your existence?
Well, the establishment, so we can say the swamp, right? So it's the political pundits, it's the Beltway, it's the consultants that deem themselves so much more intelligent and wise, and they know better than the people, right? Well, their problem is they've been living in a little bubble.
Yeah, by the way, the other thing about the mask is like, yes, if you're taking a Zoom call in a public area, then yeah, you're going to need to wear a mask because, you know, you can't spread COVID through Zoom, but you can still spread COVID to the people around you, which is not even something I mentioned or thought about because of how fucking stupid this take is regardless.
A political bubble where they've only been looking at themselves and talking to each other. They are so clueless about what real people think, what real people want, and how real people feel. They have to constantly poll to find out what people really think, but they're so disconnected, and these are the ones that are ruining the Republican Party. These are the same people that under the first 2 years under President Trump failed America. They failed our president, and they failed the people that voted for him and voted for Republicans. And that's why Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats won in 2018. And so, you know, what I have to say to those establishment Republicans is you're not representing the people that are voting Republican, and they're losing their people's support. And so that's why they're getting censured. That's why everybody hates Adam Kinzinger. That's why everybody's fed up with Liz Cheney, and nobody cares about those type of Republicans. It's old.
Yeah, I mean, fuck those Republicans, okay? And they suck. But the reality is they are the same as Marjorie Taylor Greene. They are still Republicans. They're still bad across the board. Most Democrats are too. Let's be real. But the hilarity is like, yeah, the American people are fed up with the Liz Cheney styled Republicans, which is why they want me, a Republican who is going to spend her time trying to unsuccessfully impeach Joseph Robinette Biden for being an agent of the Chinese Communist Party. And she is kind of right. That is what the Republican hogs, that are many, by the way, the actual Republican voter base wants people like her. And that's the best kind of action that they can take. Because the actual Republican base doesn't really care all that much about whether the $15 minimum wage is going to impact them in a positive or negative way. As a matter of fact, some of them recognize that it could impact them in a positive way. Thank you for the 5 subscriptions, subs, Tempest Gray 48.
We're done with them. It's like, let's move on. So it's President Trump's party and America first.
Absolutely. One of the things that you wear on your mask when you do have to wear one is...
I've got this one today. This is my impeach Biden.
Bro, she loves dressing up, dude. Every mask that she has, like, I think she's like, the funny thing is, like, everyone hates AOC, right? Like, all of the Republicans hate AOC, but like, they all secretly are like, I wish I could have my AOC moment. You know, I'm going to do this thing where I just wear like different kind of masks. I love accessorizing. So I'm going to do this different kind of thing where I wear all these like crazy masks that says I'm censored and whatever. And we'll trigger the libtards, you know, and eventually I'll get, you know, a Fox News slot and all the love and affection from the rest of the National Republican Party.
But you were one that says...
She's dead ass. Oh my God. Bro.
And abortion.
Yeah, this one today.
Hold on.
Impeach Biden.
She dead ass looks like a Titan. Straight up. You're right. She does. She literally looks like a fucking Titan. Oh my God. That's very accurate. Holy crap. Hold on. Proof for those of you who aren't pathetic weebs. Hold on. I think it's the dead eyes. What is this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's yikes.
But you were one that says end abortion.
Yes.
What does ending abortion specifically, ending abortion, mean to you? Where do we go with it?
We completely end abortion. It's the worst evil committed in our day. Roe versus.
Yeah, it's the worst evil committed in our day is abortion. Dude, there's no way she believes this. I'm sorry. You need to get hit in the head too many times to actually genuinely believe this. And the number of hits that it would take for you to actually genuinely believe this means you're already dead. You're a vegetable, okay? There's no fucking way. The amount of times that you need to be concussed in order to legitimately defend this position as it's your genuine opinion implies that you have died already, okay? There's no way. Or just be super sheltered? No. No super sheltered person. Like, people think abortion is murder, right? People think abortion is murder. That's fine. But to say that it's the greatest evil committed in our day, to hold that as a genuine position, there's no way. I don't believe that.
Wade happened in 1973. I was born in 1974. So my entire life, your entire life.
Also, she's a QAnon supporter. So what I don't understand is, like, if you're QAnon, but you believe the abortion is the greatest evil committed, then are you saying that, like, a deep state pedophile ring executed by the Democratic Party and also the intelligence community and every single Republican that's a fake rhino Republican that hates Donald Trump, literally trafficking children and fucking them by utilizing Wayfair and other dropshipping websites and shit to sell one another little babies is actually comparatively not as bad as, like, abortion? This is what I'm saying. Like, if you ask a couple questions and dive into their worldview, it like literally doesn't make sense within the worldview that they've created, no matter how psychotic it is.
Babies are murdered every single day in the womb, and that's a horrific evil. And our government even finds ways for taxpayer dollars to pay for it. That's what they did with the $1.9 trillion budget last night. One of the amendments I was able to introduce on the Rules Committee. See, they kicked me off, but guess what? I was on the Rules Committee yesterday. I introduced an amendment to stop all federal funding of that bill to go towards abortion. Democrats rejected it, of course, because they reject any Republican's amendment. But yeah, no, we need to end it. We need to end it. Over 62 million people have been murdered. They've been canceled. And they want to cancel innocent lives in the womb. They want to cancel gender, male.
Dude. Everything is cancel culture, dude. Everything is cancel culture. Abortions, cancellation of innocent lives in the womb. Just say murder, dumbass. Cancellation is, like, less aggressive than fucking murder. Just keep going with the murder element. Why do you have to say it's cancel culture? You're canceling you're canceling a fetus. Oh God, when you're so dumb that, like, you turn your manufactured grievance into and you use less aggravating language to describe your manufactured grievance. It is so funny.
Male and female. They want to cancel conservative Americans that believe in those very real, fundamental things of life. And so ending abortion means ending it completely. Every life has a chance.
So it's not regulating it, it's not heartbeat bills, it's abolishing it.
Abolish abortion. End it completely. Stop it. It's it's horrible. There aren't words for it.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. Okay, the last question, because I don't want to take up any more of your time. Speaking of labels, and they love to call you a conspiracy theorist, all of the garbage, right? Even though they believe in the Russia collusion. That's a big conspiracy theory, is it not?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. A lot of conservatives are having trouble keeping their jobs. We talked about being canceled and keeping their social media. They're getting banned everywhere like President Trump. There's a lot of people who, like me and you, are feeling scared to speak up. If you have any advice to Christians, conservatives, Trump supporters to speak up, what would you say to them?
I would say that we are possibly living in the last days of having free speech. And if anyone values that, and if you're a Christian who has been saved by my Savior, their Savior, your Savior, Jesus Christ, if you believe in God, you better stop being complacent and you better stop being quiet. We are given this grace, and we're not meant to keep it covered. We're not meant to keep a lid on our light. We're meant to expose it to the world, and we are supposed to be brave. And if you are speaking the truth in this world, you're going to be attacked, and that's okay. Because it's not this world that we live for, it's the next one. And so what I say to everyone is whether you're a religious person or whether you're not one, you have a great gift that most people on this planet don't have, and that is the freedom of speech. So use it, and don't ever forget that people like me that have been elected, everyone that works in government, everyone that serves in government, works for the people. It's a customer service relationship. See, that's something I understand as a business owner. I have to serve my customers, and their tax dollars pay for my paycheck. They pay for everything to do with government, and the American people need to remember that. So, it's hold people accountable. Tell them exactly what you have to say, feel, think, and hear, and never stop. Don't get discouraged. Don't get bullied by the media. Don't get bullied by big tech. Who cares about Mark Zuckerberg and, Google and all these people? It's not about them. It's about the American people, and the people matter. So people over politicians. I just keep saying it.
On behalf of my audience, I just want to say so many people love you, Marjorie, because you are real.
It's so sad. It's so fucking sad. Nico Lul, what? Okay, Boomer? What the fuck? I don't think that's the original account. That's not her actual account. She changed her name to Nico. Yeah, she used to, guys, before Nico blew up, she used to come into this community. No, she still watches from time to time. Yeah, look at that. 7/18/2019. Nico is like a OG. Nico is a OG Hasanabi fan, like old school. Fucking older than half of my audience right now. Today is the 1-year anniversary of Nico Lul's OK Boomer video, so she released a new one for AOC. Oh, nice. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Hold on. Before we do that, though, let's finish this video.
You are a real American. You're not an elitist out there. And I just want to say on behalf of them, we love you. We truly do. You represent us. Just like we see Donald Trump, that's what we see. We see ourselves in you and Donald Trump, and that's why we love you so much. So can I hug you? You're awesome. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you. As you guys noticed, I got...
Bro, she literally loves her. That's so weird. But yeah, I told you. She's been around for longer than half of you motherfuckers, dude. Play Doki Doki Literature Club. Anyway, let's watch this.
Whatever you say.
My claim to fame is that there's a video out there on the internet, or there's a clip out there on this platform somewhere, where I retweeted the OK Boomer video before it had, like, when it was under 1K retweets. It had like fucking 200 retweets or something, and some of the fucking psychos in this community propelled it. It was just a perfect, it was literally a perfect. She said you're only the second hottest guy on Twitch. Who's the number one hottest guy on Twitch? That's nice though.
Okay, okay, boomer, yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer, boomer. Okay, okay, boomer, yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, okay, boomer. Whatever you say.
Tim the Tatman number one. Yeah, it all went downhill. I will never forget that after she posted the OK Boomer thing, it went downhill. Hopefully it doesn't happen to AOC as well now. Wait, she actually said Tim the Tatman's number one? That's awesome. She's cute, but I'm not her demographic. She's all right. TikTok. I don't know why everyone immediately fucking runs with the... Who remembers when COVID was called a boomer remover at the beginning? I do. Didn't that tweet go viral because you retweeted it? No, I mean, it had all the perfect makings. It had all the perfect makings of a tweet that was going to go viral regardless. So I cannot take credit for that. I really want Bernie to win. For the segue into Twitch RP. Oh yeah, Twitch gamer soda popping quits fake GTA jobs because they're too hard. Wait, what the fuck? This is, I saw it on Kotaku. I didn't realize that like they literally wrote it on New York Post as well. What the fuck? Sometimes being a fake fast food restaurant manager can be as taxing as being a real one. This is especially true when you also have to pretend side gigs manage a virtual casino in a vineyard while engaging in a wide range of criminal activities and violent altercations, including bribing law enforcement and fighting aliens who want to control your mind, that exists only in the all-consuming Grand Theft Auto for short role-playing game. The multitasking streamer in question, Chance Soda Pop and Morris, whose game name is Kevin Whipple, announced Sunday that he's quitting his fake jobs and forsaking his imaginary life of crime. It got overwhelming to the point I don't enjoy it anymore, the 27-year-old said via live stream on Twitch, a streaming platform made popular by gamers. I overestimated myself, and I don't like it anymore. For those in the GTA world, Soda Pop's departure is a big deal. He has an enormous online presence thanks to his over-the-top personality, mad gaming skills, and a willingness to do stupid things, twerking, being bullied by his dog, peeing on himself, and getting yelled at by his dad, and writing all over his face with a Sharpie. There are 570,000 Twitter followers who hang on his every post. He is one of the largest Twitch fan bases out there, 6.2 million strong, with some 350 million views, and his YouTube channel subscribers top 1 million. He made a name for himself as a top-flight World of Warcraft player who began streaming his play on Twitch in 2012. Then he showed up his blackjack prowess, or lack thereof, by gambling via online casinos, and once dropping $5,000 on one hand as 43,000 fans stood witness through Twitch. Most recently, he handled his array of Grand Theft jobs and cackled his way through role-playing sessions on Twitch. The problem, as he announced Sunday, is that all the fake jobs began to seem too much like real work. Maybe he was game by the game, but as reported on Kotaku, Soda Poppin has tendered his resignation for real. GTRP, in the position Kevin was in, was a true job, he said during the live stream. It was an actual job. It was brutal. It was manager this, manager that, fucking employees this, cop problem that. I can think of 5 scenarios I actually got to do whatever I feel like, and that was going on the alien hunt and the couple of times I got to go to the police station. The only reason I got to go to the police station was because I told my managers, hey, handle it. Handle the shop while I'm gone. Being a fake wage slave became such a drag to Soda Poppin. Dude, what the fuck? Dexerto articles turning into fucking New York Post articles, man. My. What the fuck happened to the New York Post? Like, this is literally... Bro, they went from Hunter Biden's laptop delivered such a devastating blow to the New York Post that then now they're just fucking writing about this shit now. It's great. This is great. That's not it. I don't think. Wait, did you?
Yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, okay.
Oh my God.